Greetings, royalties of the Black nation. Greetings. He and who, she that cares for the liberation of every living thing, living organism, living being. Greetings. Today is another day, and we give thanks to the ancestors for the opportunity and for the love and the time to share with ourselves as a family. Now, through ancient establishments upon which today's inventions are built, we are able to speak to each other anytime we want in just a matter of the use of the communication gadgets. Beautiful. This session, we are going to look at Kwa. Kwa, the heartbeat of Ubuntu. Ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens, royalties. This is your brother, your son, your husband, Kandini Amanu. I present to you Kwa. Kwa as a concept is ancient. It finds its ancient root in the fact that it's just a singular syllable. Kwa. Kwa is known as the way. The way to all other ways. It emanates from the infinite state to the finite state. And this created the principle of duality from unity. Kwa. The way. The only way to harmony. Black nation inhabited every continent known today. Black nation, Kwa, shows to all nations and the world that Kwa is the way by which harmony became established among living bodies. So therefore, we establish numbers. We created what is seen everywhere today by the use of geometric signs or geometric symbols. And all these geometric symbols were named as numbers from 0 to 9, and then the 10th ending of rebirth and regeneration and new birth. So everything we see in our universe today is as a result of the unraveling of the path to Ubuntu. Ubuntu, as you are because we are, and we are because you are. Oneness in harmony became the fruit of knowing the path and following the path. So all that were stolen from Africa, the Black nation, was nothing but the way, because any action or any act that a person or a people or a nation, any path, any act that a person, a people, a nation will aim to move upon, you move upon to harmony, and to make this harmony a reality, qua became the path to everything that we attempt to do. And I said each Asian's name or form is in the fact that it is ageless, it is timeless, it emanates from infinity to finity, and then from finity to infinity. So the geometry of numbers were simple, and the simplicity was that 0 begins all things, infinite, preserving. Then unity, infinity of finite, 1 appeared, and that is what has been studied many years about the hue. The hue is the only thing that exists, and all other things do not exist, because the hue is what harbored the melanin, and the melanin is the regeneration seed of this universe in which we find ourselves. So there is melanin in the microcosm and melanin in the microcosm. And melanin is the central, whatever scientific knowledge you can talk about, that all the bodies in our sky or in our space or in our universe and the universes beyond, melanin is the heartbeat of everything that exists, because it is the deepest darkness one can ever assume or one cannot even conceive. So some call it the doom. Some say it is the bottomless pit. Some can name it nirvana. And some say the state of highest ecstasy. So the path shows that everything is established according to order, and the order provoke the occurrences that we experience every time. So therefore, from preserved infinity 0, you move to infinity finite, and the infinity, the second duality, where infinity finite and infinity finite comes together to make 2 components. So it is known that from infinity appeared hue, and hue carried the seed as melanin, and that melanin is what is called human in this existence of where there are names. So the singular man, the infinite finite one, then it created itself, of which we'll deal with that later. And then when it created itself, it became double.
It's the
dental.
Oh, this is dental.
Hearing is next door.
Hello, can I be heard?
Yes, please continue. We will deal with that. Sorry. Thank you.
Then duality, infinity finite duality, provoked the tribe energy called the third, number 3, which became the infinity finite established. Then 4th, infinity finite replication. 5th, infinity finite preserved. 6th, infinity finite ordinance. 7th, infinity finite completion. 8th, infinity finite interdependency. And the 9th, infinity finite oneness, Ubuntu. So infinity finite oneness, number 9, is the completion of all geometric signs or ever signs that existed. Then, because Africa, black nation, trusted in reincarnation, the number of finite infinity preserved, which we will say regeneration. Melanin is the only seed among all seeds, because if you have the tomato seeds in the soil and even over years the land is not cultivated and it's lying in the land, it will lie there until the right conditions are perfect for that tomato seeds to germinate. So when we have the land there and it's not even cultivated and you have okra seeds in it, no matter the years it will take and the disasters that will ever come, it is the only thing that germinates. So when people talked about philosophies that have existed, Africa don't talk about philosophies. The black nation don't talk about philosophies. We talk reality. We talk life. We talk Kwa. We talk Ubuntu. So the way is that everything is based on principle. And everything happens according to order. And you can break the order. If you break the order, any means you use in breaking the order will come for you to experience, because everything is created by you. And that is why the black nation retained the only seed that when everything is destroyed in the universe and everything is bent, everything is cleared, everything enter back into the soil state, and there has to be regeneration of everything. The seed for human to come back in every generation, which is like the Umoborok's snake which bites its own tail. As life goes infinitively, the seeds for regenerations are preserved in the soil or in the earth body, no matter what disaster that comes. And that is the seed that germinates or that will attract all other parts that are required to become a living being. So a human being again, human being, when we come into this space. Then there are many philosophies that talked about, now we say the man, but woman. Human being stays for all. Human being is for all, but some people often divide, and such division is that the man is on its way to completion, and the masculine energy is always on its way to completion. So it's a kind of kinetic movement. It never stops. So it is a triangle standing on its one singular tip. And man, which was the number 1, infinity finite, needed to reach completion, and the completion state of every masculine energy is in the feminine energy. the triangle with one line as its base, whereas the man is the tip of one triangle as its base. So it stands upon the tip. So man is always kinetic in movement, and then the woman is in potential state. Then duality of kinetic and potential began to create, and the creation became the infinity finite established. That is, the two dual became one, and then they produce their kind, and then it goes to that order. So whatever any system wish to establish or wish to build, a people want to do, a nation want to do, you must understand the concept of numbers in today's world and beyond. There are more other numbers that will be revealed beyond the basic ones that were used to establish our universe. So the reincarnation concept was number 10, 1 and 0, which is the infinity finite now united with the preserved infinity, which means that there is a regeneration of generation, and it goes on, and it is always the seeds that preserve the generations to come. And that is why, if you do not know yourself, it will be very difficult for you to be able to free yourself. Knowledge of freedom is self. So in our concept of Kwa, which is the very way to Ubuntu, some other continent and people started practicing this form of way, and in China they were able to help themselves with Taoism, and in the India the Vedas became the means to be able to establish that path, the way, which is Kwa. Kwa is the earliest because of its roots, and it is the same root that anywhere you will want to establish anything, the same formula must be followed, and then there will not be complications. It will happen as the universe has established it. And that is why many people go into higher studies to configure numbers so they can apply those numbers to raise establishment and everything. And if you know, as they keep saying, civilization started in Africa, it tells you that when we began to live upon every continent as the first creators of every continent, in Africa, we established many monuments in Ethiopia and Sudan and Egypt, which is Mizraim, as written in the books of the Judeans, or the people who were rulers of the land of Africa. Now, if you go there, evidence of culture appears right there in Egypt, and it is in a form of infrastructure. We conceive numbers and we use numbers to create. So everything that must be created in this plane, in this universe, you need supreme understanding of operation of numbers to get them done. So you see that the duality principle has so many examples or similarities. The moon and the sun, the woman and the man, the good and the bad, the dark and the light. So this duality must always come to play to give birth to the third. So it's like that, and the numbers can be explained in that order. Now, Kwa is beyond culture. Kwa is beyond science. Kwa is beyond economics, because Kwa will show you the various numbers and their reasons in universal creation geometry. And it was developed by the ancestors of the black nation, of which you and I can tap into it, because the knowledge in air that are known to many are more than what is known to people today. So any people who conceive through the way, the next thing needed for generations, what happens is that people will have to use the Quao method before you can create anything in this space. If you forget that, or if you are on the path and you mix the path, what happens to you, which you may think is not you, becomes timelessly incomprehensible to you. And the situation of Africa, I'm bridging this because Kwa cannot be ended in one speech today. So I am building this, and then we keep introducing the various facets of it, and we move forward. So the numbers helps us to be able to know at every point in time what we have to do. Duality will give you day and night. So all movement of a people who have reached a portion, I bring into this matter a little about quantum mentalism. At every point in time, if you are able to go down beyond the ion form, ionization state, the subatoms, that is what they will say the lowest division of all things. In the human body, you may say cells. In the scientific chemical formations, you can say proton and electrons and neutrons. So at every point in time, this basic is what, when a people realized that in the next ages to come, what is it going to be that everybody will have to associate with to have harmony? This idea is to conceive it does not belong to any color, because even if we want to talk about color, ladies and gentlemen, members of ACUP, the larger community of living beings of the universe, it ends up that we as a people will have to adopt the Huawei, because the melanin is the first of all things, and it roll it out from infinity to finite to finity. And in that process, we become aware and awake to the truth that the melanin is going to be the only preserver of any being that will ever exist in this universe. Because this universe will be there, but a lot of changes will happen. And when the UV light of the sun, as they say, becomes so high, it is only the melanin of the human that is able to let you adapt to the energies of the sun. So this is a little to draw in the Bible message about the end time, where they talk about fire is going to be used to be the judgment treatment of people that will fall in hell. Royalties, there is no hell as such, but that hell is exactly the situation that a people find themselves in at every point in time, based on the fact that they've mixed their track on the car, which leads to harmony, and that harmony is about oneness, Ubuntu. So it is not a property of any color, because the black existed, then the yellow came, the red came out of the black, then the red followed by the yellow, and then the yellow followed by the pinkish. And the truth is that there are no whites, and that must be recorded here too. The origin of human existence here is the human, and the human is the man with melanin, and the man with melanin is who degenerates to become all other things. This is science, this is cultural, and this is scientific. Now, when you are able to identify that quantum level that every generation will be now looking for, you, the people, begin to sort after that and establish that. And that is what breaks civilization. So you realize that the historians will say there was once Egyptian civilization, the Black Nation civilization. There was one Babylonian civilization. There were once Medo-Persia civilization. There were once the Greek civilization, and there was the Roman civilization. Now, the latest washing down of the melanin, the human, ends in the pinkish, the Caucasians. So, to establish anything in this universe, whether you want to be culturally identified, whether you want to conceive the highest form of scientific information and knowledge, whether you want the most field or the most kind of great and large economy, whatever one seek, you need to understand these principles and apply them. So it is not much suffering for truth to be established, but those that always go for ideas and ways that pervert from the original path to paths, and the path without measure, path among paths, and the way to Ubuntu, of which harmony will be experienced, then you got to understand the part that everything ends in human, because it's human that carries melanin. So Ubuntu is all about human harmony. Now, Ubuntu as human harmony in certain civil establishments that have turned themselves into almost religious body, but some say it's a path. Taoism could be mentioned, Hinduism could be mentioned, Buddhism could be mentioned, Judaism could be mentioned, Christianity could be mentioned, Judaism could be mentioned. Black Nation ancestral connection cannot be forgotten, because it is that gave birth to all knowledge that is experienced in this universe of which we are experiencing. Whether inventions or whatever, is out of the melanin all these are created. So Ubuntu and Kwa being the way, the Kwa established an order. One was not just one, but one stands for one human. And two was not just two, but two stood for two human. One masculine, one feminine. Together they create. And in creation, third power comes, which is always the child or the out of the connection between the two that becomes it. So politically, economically, freedom-wise, one must get what number at this point in time is relevant to this movement. Then you study about the numbers concerning what is revealed, and whatever you do follows an order. Then definitely Ubuntu will be achieved, because brings about harmony. And that is why ancient text, from the very ancient text, Mayat laws became the 7 laws, of which it is always balance. Balance means if you talk, there must be a reaction to the words. So civilization of Egypt they've talked about was that Kwa will show you man realize silence is supremacy. But to reach this silent state is either the body loses itself, living things, and become dead. So there was conscious way of living this human body and transition to the higher realm, and then the body become embalmed. It was a civilization, knowledge of how one can leave this body and not feel pains, but will go into another higher level. These are taught in many great secret societies because it's a formula that gives birth to everything that one will wish to do. So it is not the people coming to conquer you that matter, but your commitment to follow the path of your ancestors, of which every path have or find its way, every philosophy in this world find its way to Kwa, the way to all things, and Ubuntu, harmony. Because without harmony, nothing can regenerate itself, or nothing can be established. So with this understanding or overstanding, we can move into many paradigms of Kwa. The way before names came into existence, the nameless state. Then during naming, where we became conscious of creativity state. Post-naming, unconscious creativity state. So post-naming, and then the days of names, where yes, I am the king of so and so, which means that man has been able to create colonies, because every human is a star, and higher knowledge shows that everything that is giving birth to in this universe, in this plane, has its star, which can be seen in the sky. So duality, whatever happens here happens in the sky. So in order to give birth to something here, and you want it to be perpetual, you must give birth to it in a star, as a star in the sky, our space here, and then it will reflect in this universe. And this is where many have named spirituality, which means everything you wish to do, you need spiritual information and knowledge to get it done. Otherwise, whatever you do that you don't have that root knowledge of it, you are only still creating irrelevant paths, of which generation will still come to be recolonized. The only way one cannot be colonized is to walk according to the Kwa path. And when you walk according to that Kwa path, you break away every mental conditioning that controls you as a people. So in the days of names, what you are known for became the prestige of society. And this crept into our subconscious mind. So all we are thinking about every time is as if we are enslaved and we have to free ourselves. But we are already free. ACUP. Can you open your microphones and respond for me at this moment? ACUP.
One Africa, one voice.
ACUP.
One Africa.
One Africa, one voice.
One voice.
ACUP.
One
Africa,
Africa, one voice.
one voice.
Voice.
ACUP. ACUP.
One Africa,
One Africa, one voice.
ACUP.
One
Africa, one voice.
One
voice.
Thank you, royalties. We can continue from this stage. So, a people who depart from Kwa, you depart into your own suffering, because Kwa clearly explained to us how everything was established. And with that knowledge of how everything was established, then you can create a generational rule where no one can conquer, because conquering is not done in this our universe plane. It must be done in the stars, and it reflects itself in this plane or this universe. And that is why Ubuntu, which is called oneness in harmony, and which means that parts must unite. So therefore, if you and I and all people begin to give the right knowledge that will bring everyone instant consciousness of who we are as a people, we have done the greatest trick for generations of Black nation to return back to our golden ages. That is within the days, the days of names, where who you are is what people want to know. But creation cannot come from who you are. Creation comes from I am because you are. Not just you, but you and I are the same. So Kwa was able to establish among the Black nation, of which many people and prophets have said, like Mosiah, Marcus Garvey. Not until the Black continent or the Black Africa land is free, the whole universe or the whole world can never have peace. And this was reiterated in a music by Bob Marley, the legend. So Kwa is the way. And the way is that the human melanin is experiencing everything it has created in this universe, in this space. Because remember, the reddish, the pinkish, the yellowish, all of them came from the hue, the melanin, the black, the Homo sapien, as they will say, the origin of all human who are in this space, in this age, and time to come. So, in the stars, everything is born that will have its name in this universe. Whether political power, whether economic power, whether generational rule, whatever, the people that are seeking must walk according to the path of Kwa, which leads you that Kwa is all about the human, and the human is the central seed of humanity. Not until that human is free, there will never be peace, because it is the human who is infinite which became finite and is going back into infinity, and everything must go back to infinity with human. And that's why they say fire will be used to judge people, which means that the human cannot be bent because we are already the burning. So here is where, when those who have information about the space here, this universe, you don't worry at all. You live simple life, because simple life makes you to lose the rule and the control of whoever enslaves you. Whoever enslaves you just take you away from the path, Kwa. And whoever cannot recognize Kwa or reunite with Kwa, you won't reach Ubuntu. And if you don't reach Ubuntu, there will never be harmony. So the way they show us that, according to names, the earth was a unique goddess. The water was unigod. Air was unigoddess. Fire was unigod. This came together to create the hue. And this formed the melanin. It is this melanin many have termed ether, a kind of fifth pentagram energy. And this is what became the founding powers that is used to create everything in this space. If you're able to harmonize it according to the purpose, it happens. The purpose must be done in silence. And that is why Hinduism finds silence as one of its central meditation. And all this were taught by the Black Nagas of Ethiopia, who went into the Himalayas, mountains, valleys, the Indus Valley. And now, all the people that are in that region, they became their gods and goddesses. They can mention Lakshmi, Mother Lakshmi, and Apa. Only as I say for only as I say, yeah, I just spoke in tree, and I used a Sanskrit word for mother of fortune, Mother Lakshmi. And these are known to us as Africans. And this is what we invoke to reach the realms of the stars and establish everything we want to see in this universe. So, after names, now if you want to create anything in the outside this universe, you then need the various kind of levels that you can use to create that in the realms, and then it will happen right here for all others to see. You need to invoke the four elements, which is you, the human, and every time you invoke it, we are able to establish an identity in this plane. And that identity is what many black movements have been seeking for many years. But once you become aware and awake to the powers we have talked about that the black man possesses, the melanin possesses, you realize that everything you see is out of you. You are just experiencing yourself. So embodying yourself and enjoy inner harmony. Then once you have inner harmony, harmony will be external, outside, for we to see as we want to see. And that is why every people that have to liberate a generation from position that they recognize they are not, but they are still there, must become one. One here means that you remember how the black nation established our societies, whereby a female is mother for all, a male is father for all. A female that is young, female, remain queen for all. And a female that is young, male, remain king for all. So you are always for all. Once a division comes within you, then you will see divisions outside. And this is the power of the abstract creation. So when we are able to do this and establish this, then the group that seeks to create will now have the easiest attraction and easiest ways to ordain whatever in this plane according to the geometry of this universe. So there have been many levels of the uni-being, and union of unions, the air, combination of the air, the earth, the water, the fire, becoming the melanin, is what many civilizations have called primordial. Then the birth of human became the moment that the primordial revealed itself. And then the formation of a child then that child must reach an age of puberty. Puberty is the youthful stage. Then it follows by adulthood, where you have to union. That is, the masculine must combine with the feminine to recreate themselves. You reach old age, then you transition back to melanin, then ancestral activation, and you become what we call God. So we are gods. But how can we realize this? So that everything we seek to establish here in this universe, we can create it, because we are creators. Because we carry melanin, the hue. So we move on to all these orders of ways of creating in a star beyond our universe, so that it will reflect here. There must always be balance at birth. So before birth, whatever we wish to ordain in this plane, we pronounce those things upon the children who are coming here, because they are already stars in our atmosphere. And they become. Then when they are born, we initiate them into balance of primordial and mundane things. You cry, you laugh, you breathe, you immortalize, you win, you lose, you fly, and you perch. So it goes on at that stage. So this duality, if it is balanced early in your life, you are able to realize what you have to do at every point in time. And when it becomes realized among a group of people, then they can build a nation according to what they want generations to become. Then, at the childhood stage, mental fortification, initiation, all this were stolen from our archives in the various universities we built, and have been turned into occult groups all over the world, and secret groups, which are used at every time to develop their youth. But if you can access some of these things, generations of your people deviate from the path of Kwa, which leads to harmony and Ubuntu. So the youth are taught to exploit their talent, and their talent through experiential education become established. That was how education system was set. Adulthood is the time all you have learned at your puberty stage, you begin to apply them as a skill to produce, so that you make life easier for your people, yourself and your people. Old age is when now you become a counselor of society, and it was in order. Then you become monumental person in the Hall of Fame. We were doing all this every time. So whether political idea or advancement idea, everything ends in the way. If that path is not followed, one does not reach harmony. And when one does not reach harmony, then it becomes that you can't have oneness as we are here. But in fact, everything is one, melanin. Then you realize that citizens that have become monumental, we are able to move to a level where astrological tracking will occur, and we must teach our generation astrological tracking of citizens, because before anyone is born into this space, your star will appear beyond our universe, and the people who have scholars who are tracking these things are able to now define the purpose of the people in the coming generation. That's why astronomy was very or astrological studies was very important to us as a people in our earlier stages. Then we become social replication of our identity and talents and skills. This is the point where the monumental people begin to establish what they have gone through among the people, so that people begin to practice their skill, their talent that they develop. Then harmonization of self and society happens. And this happens when the people who know what they have to do at every point in time, which means that they are on the way, on the right path, which you cannot miss. So there have been many philosophies and there are many teachings, like as above, so below, as below, so above. So therefore, culturally, we as a people, politically, can educate every nation to ensure the religious bodies that were instruments of oppression in Africa, all those buildings they have built with the sweat of the people in the continent, all those leaders are to receive national resources that establish all those buildings, temples, churches, whatever they've created, mosques and all that. Every religious place they have set up, we should send production machines there to start adding value to every natural resource we have, because Africa has the highest the largest biodiversity, of which if we exploit even one of it everywhere we are just economically free. So our religion was not to aggregate the people at one place and begin to say they are praising God, but the way was that human must work. So work is your worship, and as you work, it's a form of daily exercise. So in the textbooks of some other religions, they will give you a gist of it. Thou shalt sweat before thou shalt eat. At the end of the day, the sweat was a wisdom of ancient times. It makes you exercise your body every day so that you can give more to generations. And this was a culture that we needed to pull out, and they pull us out of it as a people. Royalties. Kwa is endless. But as we have started the message on Kwa, a lot is in Kwa that will lead us to the freedom we seek for ourselves and our people, because it is our birthright. In terms of cultural unification of our scientific Kwa ways, our economic Kwa ways, and our religious Kwa ways, every paradigm of knowledge Kwa way, we shall explore it. But at this juncture, I would like to end the presentation, of which we'll continue on some other time for questions to come in. Thank you.
Thank you very much, King Kandini, for the wonderful presentation. I've learned a couple of things from your presentation, and I think one particular thing that I found much striking for me is the fact that the tomato seed, if you put it on the ground and the conditions are not conducive, it will stay on the ground for as long as it takes until the conditions become conducive so that it can grow again as tomato. And by that, what I understand is the genetic coding of an African, or the spiritual identity of an African, could not be destroyed by slavery, colonialism, or today neocolonialism. It just put on a dormant mode, as long as we are not exercising that spiritual power or identity. It's just sleeping somewhere, not totally altered, but just there, sleeping there, because the conditions are not yet conducive for us to re-emerge again as, as powerful people as we once been in the past. So this has been very, very powerful. And I think if we can put all these conditions in place, the qua in place, all these things, then the seed of royalty, of the seed of how can I put it, of freedom that is within us will rise again, will germinate again, and we will be the people as we once were in the past. So thank you very much. At this moment, I would then open the floor for questions and comments or any addition. We have a few minutes left. For sake of time, please be brief. If you have a question, if you have a comment, you have addition to what has been said in terms of your understanding, kindly just raise your hand and I will call you on the floor. Who goes first, please? If there's any comments, please feel free. The floor is open. We are going to end the show in the next few minutes. But if there's no questions, then that's okay.
Can we continue?
All right. So if you have something to say, please, since there's no questions, just continue to conclude in the next 5 minutes that we have. Thank you.
So royalties, if we look at the basis and the ways to free yourself as a people, it's so simple, but if one does not know, you can complicate it. There are ways to do everything, and when is followed, then you realize that society, citizens become keepers of one another, and that is what in political terms gave birth to what is called socialism. The concept of socialism is when society is each other's keeper. And the concept of capitalism is when an individual, one person, represent or is the all the society, just like the Ubuntu, all the society, each other's keeper. Now one person is many people keeper, which means that capitalist practices, which has become a political concept, came out of all this, our path. One, there's Ubuntu. Ubuntu ensures that the way is that every member of society is keeper of one another. So there's order of not competition, but integration. These concepts are both beyond socialism today as it politically practiced and capitalism today as it is practiced. So Qua ensures that the society establishes production firms right on the grounds of every community that is making up Africa. Don't think of the borders that has been created. The borders does not limit production at the grassroots. The borders are not hindering interaction between citizens of nations. The borders are just mental correction to limit those who are not on the path of the way. And when the people miss their path, they will surely miss their destiny. So therefore, we combine socialism and capitalism and create a community. And there's always harmony, because individuals were not in games for its competitiveness sake, where a competitor is given a bigger, large reward as done in today's world. But what happens is that the community brings out the best people with the best skill in areas, so that each members of the community who are to be trained, these people identified through competition shall be used to train the next generation. It was not a competition to be rewarded a physical cap and currency that is not timeless. It was to ensure such individuals become assets of generational development. That was the purpose of games. So we lost it when we believe in games that we need to use national resources to purchase foreign equipment to train our sportsmen for them to go and compete and win some medals, of which, if you look at the cost we use in training, buying all these foreign goods and using it to train our athletes, it does not end back in our communities most often. So what we have to do is to rather ensure the money that will be used to identify the skill, the talent of the people at the community level, the resources of the state are used to support this talent right from the villages, and then we harmonize it through studies and education, research and advancement, and establish that among the people. Then generations will come and see them as monumental transformation at our grassroots level, our community level. Then the entire continent is changed. These are just a bit of political ideologies which are wavering itself over Africa, and many times we believe in such concept of leadership, and it's limiting us because it has no future. It was not the way that harmony people of Ubuntu can organize themselves. Royalties. I end here because we have a lot to cover on Kwa. And I do know when we get to the end point of Kwa, of which it never ends because it becomes a new regeneration of generations, it shall continually go because it is a timeless path that enters into moment of recognition and continues into timeless ages and agelesses. Kwa is the way of ways. Kwa is beyond all religious philosophies. Kwa is beyond all the living states that we find everywhere, in anywhere, because it's the beginning and before the beginning and to the end and beyond the end. We have a lot to unravel in this, but at this juncture, Kandini Amanu lectures on this Kwa that creates harmony, is the way creating harmony and achieving Ubuntu. We shall continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, King Kandini, for the wonderful presentation. Thank you very much. This was revealing, and I think, as you said, there's still more to unpack so that the concept can be properly grasped and understood by everyone, and even taken to that level of practice where we can then begin to think about how we can contextualize it in our daily lives in order to see the results. So thank you very much for this wonderful presentation. Before we close completely the meeting, I just want to know if there's anybody among us with a question that can be attended to in 1 or 2 minutes before we close the session today. Or any comment or anything that anybody want to say before we depart?
Good evening.
Good evening. Please go ahead.
I just need a bit clarification. The main difference of Core and Ubuntu. I know Ubuntu is more of like interrelationship or interdependence, one for all for one kind of thing. But the Core, from his explanation, seems like something like origin of life or so. But I'm not too clear about that. If you can just throw more light on the difference. Thank you.
Beautiful, King. Thank you, King Kandini. Do you have something to say about it?
When you say Kwa is a path. A path means the way that things are done in this universe. And when you take Ubuntu is the interrelations you've just mentioned. Ubuntu is being there for each other in oneness, knowing that it's just experience of whoever you see is just you, but because you're experiencing yourself, you think it's something. But when you get to a level of understanding that, then you live in harmony with anything you see outside you, because that is the basis of interrelations. And to achieve that, you must go the Kwa way. You must follow the principle or the path of Kwa to be able to achieve that Ubuntu, that harmony of interrelations. This is the explanation to your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, King. Any other question quickly? All right. I guess there's none. So I would want to ask King Kwado to close the session for us. Looks like King Jovenis is not among us today, but on behalf of the Free-Minded Pan-African family, we thank you all for attending to the session today, and we wish you a very wonderful end of the year. And we hope to see you next year with other exciting programs and topics in the context of the Free-Minded Pan-African Academy. And we'll have more public lectures next year, as well as our normal sessions of training to produce the leaders that we want on the continent. So let me hand over to King Kwado to close the program for us today. Thank you very much, King Kwado. Over to you.
All right. Thank you very much, King Kabbalah, and thanks extremely very much to King Kandini for such a wonderful presentation, his time, and bringing the year 2025 to an end for us at the Free-Minded Academy. This is very wonderful, and we say a very big thank to you. We thank all the Free-Minded Academy team for their consistency, for their commitment, and the great work that they have done. King Kabbalah, King Jehovah's, King Panelo, and the rest of all the team members, we say are equal to you for making this year a successful year. We are looking forward that next year we're going to have an increment in everything that we had this year. Also, our regular members who have constantly been with us, we thank you very much. King Kobeyao, we say are you called? Uncle D, we say thank you very much. Queen Injedika and everyone, thank you very much. Today we have also in our midst our elder, Professor Adai Sibo, We thank you very much for joining this meeting. He is we can say that a walking library, and it will be very, very good to seek his involvement next year. So, Elder Adaisibo, we say Ayiko, and thank you very much for spending time with us today. We are very, very happy. Our sister, Amina Sise, we say thank you very much for joining. We are very grateful for having all of you and everyone who is here. Thank you very much. Let us take it up and go on to digest what we have studied here. I have also begun myself searching the concept online and to understand, to be able to conceptualize it and go to the practice. So thank God we say I code and to make sure that we are successful and we are able to sustain whatever we have done this year. Continuity is the key. Let us make it intergenerational. Thank you all very much. And I say good night to you.
Thank you very much, King. Good night, everyone. Peace and love. We'll see you next time. Please take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Have a nice one.
Beijo.
Cheers.